Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Acoustic Analysis. I'm Warren, and today I'm going to be going through the song called Urgent from Foreigner and their album 4. We're going to be taking a quick look at how to play the song, all the chords within it. We're going to talk about who wrote it, who produced it, some of the cats who played on it. We're going to take a look at why it was important to the band at the time and now, and then ask the question, what does it all mean, Basil? Before we end out playing the thing all the way through till the end with just me and an acoustic guitar, so stick around.
It's Acoustic Analysis.
Okay, first up, let's go through the chords. This song is in the key of E minor. Not the saddest of all keys. That designation goes to D minor. Of course, makes you instantly weep. But E minor is a pretty badass tune, key for a song that is essentially a pop song. I think it sort of lends itself really well to a pop song. It gives it a bit of an edge. So it's the first. Actually, I should show you the intro riff. The intro riff, if you pick upwards on your bottom E string and your A string, and you hit the octave, which is on the 7th fret, and if you slide up from which is an E flat to the E on your A string, like that, and you pick up with a staccato, like a really edgy little, that's how you get this. So check it out, it's like this. Instant recognizable riff. You know this song the second you hear that riff. So that's how that riff goes. Then we got E minor. The intro chords and the verse chords are the exact same. So there's only two sections of this song. There's the intro verse chords, and then there's the chorus chords. So I'm going to run through them both. This is it for the intro and verse. It's E minor, and then it goes to C. I play a C. I usually, when I'm just playing solo acoustic gigs, when I play a C just to fill it out a little bit, I'll hit the 5th, which is the G on your bottom string here. So if you're playing a C and you try to hit it with your 3rd finger with your pad on both if you can. Some guitars it's easier than others. This one it's not too hard. So it just thickens out the song, thickens out the sound a little bit. And then you got A minor, and then back to E minor. So once again it's E minor to C, down to A minor, and then we return to E minor. So let's talk about the chorus. Still in E minor to D, A minor, C, E minor, D, A minor, C. And if you want to mute that a little bit too, I think that sounds good for the chorus part. It kind of brings it down. It's all keyboard based in the actual song, so I think this sort of emulates that. It gives a little bit of dynamics. Just with the fleshy part of the palm of your hand, you put that against the strings right close to the bridge, and you get this sort of effect. And then back to the intro. So that's it. That's a basic run through the song. Only 2 parts to know as far as the chord structure of the song. Nice and easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's move on to talking about who wrote and produced and played on this track. It was written by the duo of Mick Jones and Lou Gramm. Graham, not Graham. Everyone thinks Graham, but it's Gramm. Graham, like a gram of... Anyway, so the story goes like this. Jones showed up from the UK, and in America he was considered a foreigner, and that's where the name of the band came from. He was searching for a lead singer back in, I'm going to say around 76, and he heard tell of this guy who was ripping it up in Syracuse, New York, upstate New York, a blue-collar guy who was just singing his lungs out, and his name, of course, is Lou Gramm. So he heard him, and he freaked out, brought him into the studio, and found the voice for, oh, did he ever, for their first album and onward success. They were a guitar-based, fairly rockin' outfit throughout their first 3 albums. And then they wanted to, I guess, transition into the 80s and bring a young whippersnapper, more modern producer. And they found a chap originally from South Africa, immigrated to England. His name is Robert John Lang. and they call him Mutt Lange. Kind of a nickname, it stuck, everyone knows him as Mutt Lange. Famous producer, went on to become Mrs. Shania Twain later in the 90s, but that's a different story. At this point, he was basically known for Back in Black by AC/DC. That was his crowning achievement in 1980s. This is only a year later. That was a hard-rocking album. This is a hard-rocking band with Foreigner, and put the two together, and what do you get? Really softened edges from both of them, which is confusing to me. But I think what they were thinking was, let's put some keyboards layered on this and bring ourselves into the 80s, both Robert and Foreigner. I think that's where their head was at with this whole album, and man, did it work. They hit the sweet spot, in my opinion. So they wanted to get incredible keyboard sounds, and they went to a totally unknown guy by the name of Thomas Dolby. You might know that name from She Blinded Me with Science. And he was an unknown. And this is his step up to the big leagues. He came in and did all of computers barely existed at this point. You got to remember, when they talk about programming sounds for keyboards, it was in its infancy at this stage. And Thomas Dolby was a genius, no doubt about it. Listen to the quality of the synthesizer tones on Foreigner 4. They layered them, but they just got some beautiful textures and gorgeous. So Dolby was a king. But then they also went and got a solo. Here's how I imagined it went. And there's an urban myth about this. I don't know anything that contradicts it, so I'm going to say that it's the truth. The story is, they wanted to try different ideas for the solos of Urgent. It was going to be their big hit single, and it was the first release single. Went to #1, so yeah, it worked. They probably tried a guitar solo. They probably tried a keyboard solo, because that was their big thing at the time. Keyboards, we need something else. So they went to saxophone player, I'm assuming one of the guys in the band, or maybe Mutt Lange knew, Junior Walker, from Junior Walker and the All-Stars back in the 60s. You might remember, he was a Motown artist. He had a hit with, what was it called? Shotgun. I said shotgun! Wah, wah, incredible Motown track. Berry Gordy wrote and produced it with Junior Walker. They had bass on there by none other than James Jameson, the historic Wrecking Crew, playing on the track. Of course it was a hit. Hello! Hitsville, baby! So they heard that he was in town. Someone heard that he was in town. They asked him if he wanted to drop by and drop a track on a solo. So this is how it went, apparently. Hey man, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. He walks into the booth, tunes up his horn. He says, what key is it in? E minor. Okay, cool. They press record. He blasts his way through the thing, puts his horn away, and he leaves. It's one of the biggest, most iconic sax solos in the history of rock and roll. And that, apparently, is how it went down. Wow! Pretty cool. Now, a question for you. What happened to saxophones? 20s, yes. 30s, yes. 40s with big band swing and Glenn Miller and all that shit. Of course, 1950s, saxophone ruled the rock and roll scene in the early days. 1960s, Junior Walker, of course, and the All-Stars with that track, along with a million others. It was almost obligatory to have a sax solo in your songs. 70s, you had all that funk with the huge horn sections, disco, everybody had a saxophone. It was the thing to do. 80s, well, case in point with this tune, 80s saxophone still reigns supreme, and then Nirvana came, and we haven't heard from Mr. Saxophone since, and that's sad. I want the sax back, man. Anyway, I digress. That's just my opinion. So those are the cats that were playing. That's who wrote and produced this one. What did it mean to Foreigner? What did this track mean to them? Well, other than that it was a #1, they weren't unfamiliar with that. They were just continuing with this being their 4th album on having big success on the American Billboard charts. But it was a crossover. That was the first hit off of that album. There'd be many others, but it was a crossover between the heavy-hitting guitar-based 70s rock, which was freaking awesome, and then what they became schmaltzy adult contemporary music in later days. This song hit right in the middle, in the sweet spot. And I think that's why it's important, and it still endures. I mean, I bet you that thing still gets downloaded. It sold 6 million copies in the States alone back in the day. and it's gone. It's probably up to 15 million or something now, or more. Who knows? But so that's why it is extremely important to them. But then we have to ask ourselves, what does it all mean, Basil? What do the lyrics? It's got to be deep, right? Come, urgent. Nah, it's not. 2 words, babies. Booty call. This entire song is just simply an old-fashioned booty call. And she is in charge, man. She's the one that's calling him up and saying, I need you right now. Get over here. And that's it. It's a booty call. Pure and simple. And I love it. So, let's play the song all the way through. Live and impersonal. Oh, I should also geek out for a minute. I am a self-admitted guitaraholic. I'm a bit of a guitar geek. Okay? So, what am I playing today? I ordered this baby about 4 years ago, direct online from their website. At the time they were called Carvin, now they're called, what are they called now? Kiesel? Kiesel? I don't even know how to pronounce it, to be honest. They changed their name from Carvin to Kiesel, and now Carvin does just their amps and stuff. Anyway, you order it, they're not cheap, but they're made in California and they do a fantastic job as far as the quality and fit and finish of it is superb and it plays like a dream. I just wanted the white and white with maple neck because I thought it looked cool on stage under the lights, and it does. So, mission accomplished, and it plays beautifully. So, yeah, without further ado, let's play the song. Sometimes I wonder when I look in your eyes, maybe you're thinking some other guy, but I know, yes I know how to treat you right. That's why you call me in the middle of the night and say it's urgent. It's so urgent. Make it fast, make it urgent. Just you wait and see how urgent our love can be. It's urgent. You play tricks on my mind. You're everywhere, but you're so hard to find. You're not warm or sentimental. You're so extreme. You can be so temperamental. But I'm not looking for love that will last. I know what I need, and I need it fast. Just one thing in common that we both share. That's why you call me anytime, anywhere, and say it's urgent. It's so urgent. Do it quick, do it urgent. Just you wait and see how urgent So there you have it. Urgent by Foreigner, 1981. Huge hit off the album 4. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you around for another episode. Thanks
It's
a lot.
acoustic analysis.